Should we continue?
You never have to ask me if we should.
I know.
Because you know my answer. You know my answer. Welcome to the Business and Pleasure of Flowers. We're your hosts, Vonda
and Lori Wilson, and we believe that business and fun are a perfect combination. Kind of like us, Vonda.
Celebrate, Lori. Woohoo!
Happy 300th birthday.
No, not birthday. Please don't put me at 300.
Anniversary. Happy 300th episode. What is this called?
300 episodes.
300.
Can you believe that? Wow.
No. Honestly, I thought we'd maybe do 3.
We'd do a year and then Ellie and you would go, well, should we keep going?
Yeah.
And then I'd say, oh yeah, we got to go. And then the next year.
And I say this every time we get to like a anniversary type number. When we talked about doing a podcast at the beginning, in my mind, I thought we'd do it like a year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because this was kind of on your bucket list. I want to try a podcast. I want to see if I can do it, right?
It was on my list, right? Not a bingo card, but one of those things I wanted to do probably for 4 years. Because I looked up in 2016 when I'm like, I'm going to do it. So it was 4 years, finally. And it was
crazy.
Like, we did it. And now, so it was on my bucket list. And you're like, I'll do it with you.
Yeah. I remember walking around your house trying to figure out a name for it with Yumi and Ellie. And we were walking around and trying to like come up with names and talk about it. And that's where we landed on. Well,
I don't remember that. Isn't that?
Oh, I do. I remember that because I'm like, well, you're all business and I'm party in the back, you know, like woohoo. And so we're like business and a little bit of business, a little bit of pleasure. And that's how.
And it was a perfect title. I mean, you think of that. You think of that now?
Yeah. We're all about flowers. So anyway, okay. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about like moments and what we've learned in the past 3 years, because you and I've learned a lot.
Oh,
but before we start, I want you to know that if this flowers gig, when it's over and stops working for us, I found us our next opportunity.
Oh, okay.
So I don't think this next opportunity is going to pay us anything, but
this one doesn't either. So it's okay.
Right. Well, that's true. Okay. This is going to reward us in all the other ways that you and I want to be rewarded in. So this will be our retirement job, how we'll give back, if you will.
Okay. All right. I like that idea.
So I found a lady that I am now obsessed with. I found her on TikTok and I follow her on Instagram. Of course I did. But this is where I go when I just want to have joy brought into my life. Her name is Jamie. And her Instagram is called Reborns with Reasons. And she is a doll collector, which that's why I started following her, because, you know, my mother was obsessed with dolls,
right?
A whole room full of dolls. But she does those newborns that look like real babies, almost terrifyingly newborn. Real.
I have seen those,
and they're very expensive. I mean, you have them custom made. And anyway, she uses hers for therapeutic benefits. She's also a hospice nurse, which is something that you've always talked about wanting to do.
Love.
So she takes her reborns and she goes to memory care facilities with her reborns and she brings them in a little wagon, all dressed. And she goes from like room to room and gives the babies to the patrons that live there. And it gets me so emotional. One of the men that lives there was a pediatrician.
Oh.
And I cannot tell you how much I sobbed the very first video I saw of him, and she keeps going back to him. She never shows his face, but when she hands him a baby, he immediately goes into pediatrician mode and starts checking like the top of their head the face, and he is not super verbal, but he starts talking then and says, "Well, you're a fine young man, yet we will fix that," and just starts communicating with the babies.
Oh.
And it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, absolute most beautiful thing I've seen. And so she does that and she shares a story and then people will help sponsor to raise money to get a new baby for her. And so anyway, I was like, this is what fun
This is
is.
yeah, we could do
This
that.
is what we're gonna do. We can do this. And so she has like preemies and then she has little up to like maybe a 1-year-old size.
Oh my
And they
god.
look so, so real. And then there was another episode where she had a baby and she kept giving it to a woman and the woman didn't really respond, and she couldn't really figure out why because everybody else was not she'd hold it a while and then just kinda not want it. And then one day, she brought a dark-skinned baby, and she just happened to give it to that woman who is not dark-skinned, and the woman just grabbed it and held it to her chest as tight as she could
Really?
and wouldn't let it go, and the woman's completely nonverbal and just started rocking and holding it, and she thought, "I wonder what's going on, what's the connection here?" And just
Mm.
started, like, patting it and all these things, and so she asked a nurse and kind of shared, she goes, "Oh, she was a school teacher her whole life, and she taught in, like, the inner city of Chicago,
Oh my
and
god.
in an all-black school her whole life." And
Uh-huh.
I would imagine that's why she's feeling a connection to it.
Yes.
And so she said from then on, she always made sure to have that baby, and she said because she would just light up
Oh.
when you brought that baby. And so I'm like, again, sobbing,
Oh, I would be
sobbing.
too, Lori. Oh my gosh. Yeah, yeah, we could do that. We could do that.
I know.
Mm,
So
mm.
that's next. That's our next,
Yeah.
but we have to retire first, and then we'll get a bunch of
Is that
babies.
gonna happen? I'm not sure I'm gonna retire.
I don't know.
I
I
might
don't
just have
know.
to do that just
Well,
for a
here's the thing, we'll probably be in the memory care having the babies brought to us. I don't know. I
Mhm.
don't know. But
Maybe we
anyway,
should buy one first so we'll have it there.
yes, that's we'll pass it back and forth. We'll
Exactly.
just pass it back and forth and share it, so but that's
Oh
what
my god.
is making my day right now. I
Yeah.
I
Oh my
look at
god.
that and
Mhm.
watch people doing such amazing things.
And that just brings up something else, what you just said triggered. Remember we used to do that at the end of our podcast when we
It's
were
giving
starting.
you life.
What's giving
Yes.
you life. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my
well,
god.
that's what's giving me life right now.
Yeah.
That's like, I am so selective what I look at in social media right now, but that is one I'm still looking at my goats, still look
Mhm.
at all my animals, but that is the reborn with reasons. I
Mm.
highly recommend watching her and the work she does because it's incredible. The memory care world is so near and dear to my heart and yours because
Yeah.
you know people that have gone through that. See them react is
Mhm.
just beautiful, especially that pediatrician. He's not, really giving the baby a physical, but you can tell the way his hands move. He thinks he is. And it's just, it's incredible.
Wow. Yeah. I might even have to get on TikTok and look at
Yeah.
that.
I'll send it to you on Instagram.
Oh,
You
okay.
get on Instagram. You can go through all of it on Instagram and
Super.
it's beautiful, beautiful. So,
Oh,
all right. So let's go back to our 300. We are at 300. I have a question for you.
oh,
What is one thing, if you can think about this, one thing you learned from our audience in these 300 that you surprised you?
that they like us.
Yeah. That they listen, that we
That
have
they
a
listen, that
that we have one.
we
That
have a podcast,
what
we have an audience, and we're so grateful for that, that people listen the first few times and they're like, "Oh, something about those gals. I'm
yeah,
gonna listen."
yeah,
And we have followers and that people, however random
mm,
information you come up with or we come
yeah,
up with, that they comment, they enjoy it. So
yeah,
I think that's been a really source of, what do I want to say? Pride, I guess. I'm
mhm,
not a prideful person, but I'm really proud of the fact that we give people something that they can connect with.
Yeah. I would agree. And to add to that, we have always stayed true to our true, I will speak for myself, my true quirky self, our true authentic
Mhm.
selves. And when we have been able to meet people, they say, "Hey, I listened to your podcast," and they have a smile on your face, and it's not, "Oh, I've listened to your podcast." Like, we
Mhm.
rarely get that.
Mm.
It's like, I'm so humbled. I
Mm.
truly, truly am humbled because my first thought is, "Really? Wow."
But you have to be proud too in a way that,
Oh, I'm
oh,
so proud, but I'm so humbled.
yeah, same.
Honored,
Mm.
honored, I
Honored.
think is a better word,
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
Like,
Mhm.
so honored that you do, because that's why we do it,
Yeah. Oh.
because we want someone out there to listen and go, "Wow, I feel that way too,"
Mhm.
or I learned something. I'm not alone, I think. I'm not alone.
And that's why I wrote that. You asked me why I have that little note up here, what that means.
Mhm.
And it's what we say sometimes. We're going through whatever your notes are, or maybe no notes at all, which we do a lot of times.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people will tell us they heard this or they heard this. And we say to ourselves, did we say that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And so it's like I have priest friends and you have pastor friends, and it's the same
mhm.
thing. They deliver a message, which
Yes.
is what message they intend to deliver. And
Yeah.
people hear a different message depending on
Yes.
what place in your life you are. And I think that's
Yes.
really fascinating to me. It's like that is a whole, obviously, a spiritual message, but we sometimes give a message on flowers
Yeah.
or thoughts or whatever it
Yeah.
is. And
Yeah.
people hear what they want to hear and take away
Yeah.
what they need to take away, which I think
Agree.
is fascinating.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think the other big thing we learned about our audience is they can't tell our voices apart.
And that just I cannot believe that. That's
I
right.
couldn't either. I couldn't either. And the first time I heard it, I'm like, you've got to be kidding. Because a lot of people think I have an accent, and I don't think I do, but a lot of people do think that. And then just not long ago when we were in Douglas, Georgia, one of Randy's coworkers, Jamie,
Jamie. Mhm.
he was like, "No, which one's which?" And I'm like, "You don't know? Like, how do you not know?"
No, it seems so obvious to us,
It's so funny to me. Like, how we're nothing alike.
but we're not at all.
A lot of people, I don't know. It just blew my mind
I know,
that,
because when he said that, I was like, "Seriously?"
yeah,
And
yeah.
I even think our voices sound so different.
Oh, so different. But I don't know. I guess on the podcast, maybe not. Who knows? We'll never know because we are in it. We're not on the outside. So here's my question to you.
Oh, here we go,
Should
another
we
one.
should we continue?
You never have to ask me if we
I know.
because you know my answer. You know my
Right.
answer. And Lori, I still am editing them every time. It's getting so much easier because of the technology that's available, the script
Yeah.
and everything. It just makes it so much
Do
easier.
you like editing
Yeah, I
now?
really do. It's very interesting because I get to hear again what you say. Many times you're right in the middle of things, right? We're having this conversation and you're giving these facts or not facts, whatever it is. We're having
Or
fun.
just my own facts, my own version of facts?
And then I get to hear it back. And truly, if there was a microphone in the office that was capturing things, it would hear me laugh when I'm
Yeah.
editing the podcast. So I get to hear it a couple
So
times, play back and
funny.
go, and I really do enjoy it, I guess, still.
That's crazy because you will text me sometimes when you're editing and you're like, "I'm cracking up."
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, "I don't even remember what I said. I have no memory of what I said.
I
No
know. That's what I'm
no
saying. We just go through all this and then I get to
clue.
like, "Oh, did we say that?"
Can you say that? Is that edible? Should I okay, I'm just gonna leave it."
Mhm. Yep, that was our outside voices. Yes, it was.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. We say that outside. Okay, that's one thing we learned about our listeners in doing this 300 episodes in 5 years in to Flower Click.
Yeah.
Can you think of things that we've learned along the way? Because one of the benefits, I'll speak for myself, one of the benefits of doing this podcast is I look at my role at Flower Click. And part of that is like everything I do, everything I read, everything I absorb in my day to day, I'm filtering through. Ooh, would that be good podcast content? Ooh, would that be good podcast? Like we're always looking at that. Everyone we meet. Ooh, would they be good to have? Like you and I do. That's constant. It never stops. It's actually quite annoying. Like it never stops because that's how we filter our world 7 days a week when you do a podcast.
Right.
Would you agree?
I agree. I agree. We're always trying to say, is that a good lesson? Oh, is this something that we would
Right,
like to share with
right,
shop owners? Yeah, and totally, 100%, Lori, 100%. And
right,
sometimes that's where we have our shower thoughts too, because then it comes back to us, and we're like,
right,
there's one, I remember.
right, right. So part of the thing about doing a podcast tagged on to our normal day-to-day job is you don't just clock out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, "Clocked out for the day, I don't have to do." No, because we're in charge of our own content.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
if we don't come up with content, you don't have a podcast. So that's another thing I'm learning about podcast world.
Mm-hmm.
Like we got to keep it moving. We got to keep it fresh. We got to keep it moving. We got to keep thinking. So that's one thing I want to say. The other thing I'm learned about our industry and about like flower shops in particular
Mm-hmm.
is I don't know how to put this. So I'm just going to say it because I struggle with it. I think our world as a whole too is our lack of impulse control.
Oh, oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's a subject for sure. I mean, we
Right.
see that so much in the industry, but there's so many little pockets of it that we see all the time in Flower Click or for other shops that we're talking to. We're like, ooh, ooh. One example that I would say is that people change their website platforms over and over and over
Mm.
again. We hear this from Cami. It's like, oh, so and so changed their website platform, or somebody's calling in and they want to join and they're like, well, I could change it to this. Oh, I could change it to this. I just changed it to this, 6 months ago. And now I think maybe I should change again. It's like
Right.
people.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
and I mean, let's even back it up. I think when we first started the podcast, right, it was such a slow go. Being impulsive, was like, "Ugh, let's just stop." I remember Ellie and I coming to you going, maybe we should just do it every other week.
You
Or
did
maybe once a month. Remember that?
once a month, maybe once a month, every other week, not just once a week.
Yeah, we were wanting to stop real quick
Mhm.
and slow it down and not give it enough time. And you were like, no, my boyfriend Pat says,
That's
who
right. My boyfriend.
it's not really your boyfriend, but we make fun of Vonda because whoever he
Pat
is, he works.
Flynn, he does a lot of podcasts, and he's the one who taught me how to do podcasting.
Right,
Pat
right. It's
Flynn.
all virtual. She doesn't know him personally, but we call him her because she always talked about Pat says this, Pat says that. So call him her boyfriend. But we were queens of lack of impulse control because we wanted to pretty much put the kibosh on it.
And the reason for that, somebody this weekend when I was talking about something and I'm like, oh my God, that is it. Instant gratification. We wanted instant gratification. We wanted, everybody should listen to our podcast that first year and we should,
Yeah.
and
We
they're
should
not
have 2,000
listening.
people.
Yes, right. And so you and Ellie are like, well, this isn't scaling
No.
the way we should. And
Yep.
I'm like,
Yep.
it doesn't matter. The people who are listening are getting something. That's
Yep.
why we're doing it. But
Yep.
instant gratification is like that with the changing of the platforms, Lori and Ellie wanting to make sure we had all these followers. I
Yep.
think that's what it is. I mean, we want that
Yeah.
instant.
Yeah.
It's like,
But
okay.
you're right. I've seen it roll over into flower shops when it comes to changing their website, changing their name. I see it in email marketing. They join they start doing email marketing. First of all, it's very hard to measure email marketing, how well it's doing, blah, 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 blah. They're in it a couple months. If they don't see something, I'm like, you can't measure it in 2 months. You've only sent out 6 emails or whatever, like, all of those kind of things.
Well, we can't measure how much return we're getting on our podcast. Let's just say that. And we're due for 300. So, it's
Exact
like,
exactly,
people
exactly,
who can't measure their emails, I mean, there's some ways you can do that, but what you can't get from measuring emails is that top of mind awareness that you're continuing to send out week after week. And also, you can't measure the good
right,
information you're giving to them in emails and how that really benefits that shop.
exactly.
Yeah.
Another one I was just thinking about is when we first started our bundles.
Yes.
Our and that we started that during COVID,
COVID.
actually out of necessity
Yeah.
because a lot of our shops were having trouble, and when we first started it, there were some hits and misses. There
Mhm.
was a lot of struggles because they weren't perfect.
Mhm. That's right.
They were brand new, just like anything, and some shops got them. There were issues. Never nope, yeah, not gonna order them again. Okay.
Okay. And sometimes, and even today, you're going to get a bad flower or something. But when you get it from your wholesaler and it's bad, you're like, oh, I don't want that wholesaler anymore. Instead of looking at the advantages of what you're getting and the changes. But you're right. People don't want to, what do I want to say?
We just don't have patience. We don't wanna try again. We don't wanna give second chances.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then this is what I find to be interesting, and we talked about this a little bit in our directors meeting this week, you and Cami and Ellie and I. And I also have talked about this with a group of flower shop owners at the bar at SAF.
Okay. There you are.
People, since COVID, this is just our theory, customers are just more mean. I feel like we are less patient people.
Hmm.
We are not as considerate.
Hmm.
Um, and I also think, even though, let's say you are a flower shop and that your customers are treating you not very nice,
Not nice. Hmm.
not nice, but we also have flower shops that are treating us that way more than they used to.
Yeah.
So we're all becoming a little bit meaner right now. Ellie was even talking about that, dealing with all of her wedding stuff, not even just our industry, but in other industries. And I was even talking to my son who's in the restaurant industry, and he's like, yeah, people are just more impatient right now, and mean about it.
And they're more
And
demanding. Their expectations are higher, for sure.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then they don't mind telling you when they're really disappointed.
yeah.
And
But
they
there's
want
not
you
a lot of gratefulness.
Yes. Yes. And then, as Ellie and Cami were talking about, it's all this, well,
Yeah.
unfortunately,
Yes.
we can't do this.
Oh,
Unfortunately, instead of
yeah.
saying, we can't do this, but we can do this. This isn't going to work, but let me tell you what we can do. You
Yeah.
don't hear that anymore. People
No.
used to try to solve those little problems or situations, but now they're just like, unfortunately, we can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why
Well,
people are losing customers.
right. Which is what we talked about at Texas State.
Yep.
Going back to Simon Sinek saying, here's the thing. I know you can't solve every single problem I have, but I at least as a customer want to know you tried,
Mhm. Mhm.
you put forth every effort, and you feel my pain.
Mhm.
That's all. I need to know that you're like as bummed as I am.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
And you did try to take it to the top.
Yeah, you're in it with me. Come on.
Right. Right. Even if you had to fake it,
Well,
be a
that's what
good.
you had mentioned, and I thought that was great. It's just like, "Let me see what I can do. Let me see," and just
Yeah.
put them on hold.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you can't do anything, but come back and say, "I tried everything I can, and I
And everything.
just can't do it.
I am
I'm
so
so"
bummed about this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Give them the
That's
attempt.
right. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to do that.
No.
It just takes a little bit of nuance and empathy
Mm-hmm.
to let him know, "Ah, man, this is a bummer. I tried.
Mm-hmm.
I went up to the boss. His hands are tied too. This is a corporate thing." Like, blame someone so high up that you're like, "Oh, that's I get it. I know you can't do anything about it, but at least you tried." I mean, isn't that even a better conversation to have
Oh
than,
my gosh, yeah.
unfortunately, no. That's what I'll never understand it.
So we're just gonna
That
invite everybody to be kinder, more patient.
and lie. Just lie to your customer. It's what to make them feel better. Lie for them.
And make up
It's
a story. I
make
think
up a
it sounds better than lie, Lori.
fabricate,
Let's just make up a
fabricate
little story. Mhm, there you go.
the truth. So that's
So, how many more are we gonna do, Lori? We have 300. You going for 6?
oh gosh. I don't know if I can do 600.
All right,
Maybe well, how many do we do in 1 year? Is that 52?
that would be 52 weeks in a year. Yes, that would be.
Well, let's take it 52 at a time.
Okay. I think that's fair. But I do have to tell you one thing that I've learned the most out of 300 episodes.
Okay.
How much I love you.
Oh, and
I'm
I love
serious
you.
because I
Yes.
think after 300 episodes, and we knew this earlier, but we get to know each other more
Yeah.
and more and more.
Yeah.
And I just don't think there would be a way we'd do that, even working together all the time.
No.
Doing a podcast together, we share stories with our listeners and with each other and share our hearts. And I just have gotten to know you and adore you and love you even more. So thank you.
You
Thank you for
and
sticking with me.
oh, here's the thing. I wouldn't do this for anyone else. You know that? What our listeners probably don't know is before we hit the record button, there's always a good chance we've been on for 45 minutes just talking or laughing. And then after we stop record, there's a good chance we're on for a whole nother hour talking about God knows what. So this dysfunction goes on forever.
So
It just
stick with us. Okay. Stick with us. We're so glad you're here.
We love everybody. Thanks for listening. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. We hope you enjoyed spending time with us because we enjoy spending time with you. If you did, make sure you hit that subscribe button or add the business and pleasure of flowers to your Google morning routine or your flash briefing on Alexa. We look forward to seeing you next week.
So please come back and join us and discover how a bit of knowledge and one small change in your mindset can take you to new levels in your life and business.